Right, thanks for tuning in. This is Now Speaking. It's a poetry and music event, and thanks a bunch to Greg and Leon for responding to my very late requests for them to put on a set for it. They're both excellent, and hopefully you're gonna love them. But here's mine for now. Here's my one. Thank you.
Swells at the seams, I only love in small measure, and I hate in extremes. Why don't you hate me when I'm a crack in the road, I'm a split in the walls, I'm a weed that's been sold. Why don't you hate me? I'm not in love with myself, but I guess that I'll do till you can find someone else. Why don't you hate me? I'm feeding lies to you kids, yeah, they'll wash up in the rivers when they hear what we did.
The basilisk saw me today. I tried to duck under the burning holes where its eyes should be. I can't ever escape the consequences of this, so I'll go back inside for now. I meant to go out. A voice went off in the night. It said, "Find me a person you truly understand." I know maybe two, I thought, but then the basilisk saw me, so I won't be doing that today. I think a lot when I'm alone, and I admit it's mostly about myself. I make art with a desperate intent to understand myself and to force others to understand me. I don't like to be misunderstood, but being seen means the basilisk sees too. I see caves when I'm asleep. I fall into them and smash onto rocks, or bottomless pits, or pools of oil where I'm baptized in the slick. But then the eyes of the basilisk are on me, and I wake up. I keep my curtains shut during the day, but I can see the empty lights outside waiting for me. I sometimes chance it and go to the shops for some biscuits or bread, but when I'm back, the eyes of the basilisk burn through a car window, and that's my day done.
Spin on the wheel. Tell your I see. Feel sick at what I see. It's getting free. It's coming after me. It's coming after me. It's coming after me. It's coming after me.
On my way to work, a tall guy with short blonde hair and a face like a slab of beef looks me up and down with intent. I'm sure he feels big in that moment, a towering monolith with a brow of pure iron, ready to knock down anyone who threatens his swollen masculine fantasy. He's got his droogs backing him up, two equally self-satisfied meat men ready to bark at their master's orders. He looks like a mix of Josh Homme and Peter Sutcliffe, and he rakes up and down my frame, satisfied that he could turn me into mince if he wanted. I hold my course and pass by. The corners of his mouth turn up into a smirk. In his mind, he's won. Every man he challenges who doesn't lash out like a flailing gorilla desperate to be leader of the pack is a win. He's the leader. So I walk by, satisfied that everyone who sees him will see the same self-parody, the same archetypal twat about town that I did. I don't do well when I speak sincerely. Sometimes I'm wrong about what I think you're thinking. I feel I've projected my thoughts so clearly, but there you stand, just waiting, blinking. I collect my thoughts and try again, to try to make you see my side. But my side is a slide into a neurotic fen, so you don't follow me in. I tried. Maybe I'm all too volatile a person. Maybe I'm angry too easily, too much. An eruption repressed is an eruption worsened, but I put on a face, a mask, and a crutch. I will bury any feeling too strong under a layer of plaque at the back of my teeth, and it will grow thicker the more you try to dig at what is underneath. I deleted my Twitter. It was just an excuse for me not to go to therapy. But then I never went, so who won that one? Now vulnerability aches, so Twitter, verily. How embarrassing to fully feel the burden. Humiliating to show you're made of meat. But while an eruption repressed is an eruption worsened, I will never admit defeat. You ask and don't get. You ask and you still don't get. And this happens time after time. And then you ask and you get, and you don't want what you have finally, so you throw it away. When your talents and ambitions fail you, they fall out of your head down your throat. Tar and bile fill your lungs, and you cough and spit them in the face of anyone who dares think they could possibly understand you. You try and take your dreams into your mouth, to make them part of your daily routine, but you spit up sand, dust, and dirt. You say no one has this millstone on their back. No one's chains are lashed as tight as mine. No one's Judeca bites as cold as mine. I've earned the bile in my veins and the poison I lick into the air, but your pain is not unique. The martyr bleeds while the world moves on by. The hospitals continue to fill and the crematoriums smoke, and cold water runs slowly out the side of your head, and yes, you hurt, but if you can't play nice with others, then we take away your ball. Your pain is not unique. You pull rationalizations out of your stomach, long ropes of justifications, and you bury yourself in the coils. It's the Ides of March, but Brutus is Caesar too. The hand that holds is the hand that falls, and your triumvirate has no mandate. Your pain is not unique. It's seen in every face spat at in anger. You can't see the fire for the forest, and the smoke is filling up your eyes and pouring down your spine. Your pain is not unique.
Palm trees on all of your glasses, and sand in all of your clothes. The sky's always blue and the sun always sets looking the same as it did when it rose. The sun's gonna bleach my head where all my hair's gone away. No matter how famous I ever get, I don't want to grow old in LA. When England forgot about Morrissey, when Johnny Rotten slipped from the stage, God save the dead queen, time to drain a new scene. They went to go die in LA, to never see another winter. I forget why I like the sun. Need to be around freaks, everything's just too neat. Do you see the kind of people they become? Sunset Strip smells like the money these kids can burn through in a day. These coats here are false, check their skulls for a pulse. The dead walk the streets in LA. Every has-been's once worth a dribble, piss. Every word that has now lost its play. North Wales or the States, retirement home for the great. They all go to die in LA. If I ever achieve notoriety off some scraps of a notebook or song, if I ever say I'll retire to LA, something's gone horribly wrong. If I ever decide to become one of them, I beg you to get in my way. Put a shell in my brain before I get on that plane. I don't want to grow old in LA. Put a shell in my brain before I get on that plane. I don't want to grow old in LA.
I'll definitely be doing more of these. These are really fun. And I'd like to get more poets involved, so if you're watching and you do poetry of any variety, really, or music, or both, get in touch, and I'd love to do some more. So, yeah. Thanks.
Born to work and die beneath the sun-scorched sky. Time kept going by after synthetic senses fade from the side. Oh, I kept myself to myself, never wanted to leave my shelf. Went out not with a bang or whimper, but a whelp refused to compromise. Rehearsed my alibis, clung to someone else's cyanide so I could live with what I'd hide. No longer sleeping through the night. The whole thing was hardly living. Ready for the world, but baby, who is? Survival's just unrelenting shit. Maybe that's why the deja vu stopped coming through. Was that before or after the oceans hit the city streets? Deceitful, descended to the bounds that bleached the sky. Didn't lose any sleep when they left me here to die. The whole thing was hardly living. Hardly living. Giving up without losing your pride, and now
try to give in without losing my mind. Give me a reason not to be how I am. Give me a reason to change. Hidden my symptoms for far too long. Now I'm waiting for you to realize your welcome's long gone. Don't greet me as a friend, don't discuss me like a lover. You can't claim protection when you hurt my mother. I can't help feeling alone, 'cause it's 6 a.m. and it got me stalking my phone. But at least now I'm without you. Oh, for now I'm without you. So using music to guide your mind, keep yourself locked away in esoteric landmine. I don't remember the words to this section, I'll have to fill them in later. I hope one day to meet Bill Hader. But when you know you should be happy, your positivity is pain. Feels like fear, feels like hunger, stays with you again and again. Please, for now, I'm without you. For now, I'm without you. There's a copper on the dance floor, and he doesn't want me to know. There's a copper on the dance floor, flogging his homemade blow, screaming out the wrong words, then telling the band what to sing, telling him no just brings out his emphatic glow, 'cause it feels like I'm fucking king. Bouncer is his best friend, and he's getting paid to drink. There's a copper on the dance floor. Thankfully he's not paid to think. Doesn't care what he has to be, as long as they don't have to work for free to lose himself into believing he's more than just a cog in the machine. But he's just following orders 'cause they know they'll never have to retreat. There's a copper on the dance floor, and he doesn't want me to leave. There's a copper on the dance floor, celebrating impunity.
These days there are many differences between the devils you know and the ones you don't. But nothing as dangerous as a saviour's hope. When push comes to shove, once you've had enough, days are long and tough, and getting through the rough seems like cutting yourself off from love. Who gets you through? When getting up after being knocked down, living life with concealed frowns reveals a lack of kinship in your little town. Who lets your sins slip through? Hold tight, don't let go of the person who'll be there tomorrow, co-conspirator, rehabilitator, respirator. Optimism's fucking painful without a generator.
Your catalogue's decent. Oh, yeah. Action!
Yes.
Hello, I'm Leon. In this case, Hermes Polinski, which feels weird saying it out loud, actually, because I don't really. It's normally on the gram. Anyway, big thanks to Aaron for wanting me to tell my terribly depressing poems to people. That's nice. Thank you. Anyway, so this is the first one. It's called Pleasantries because it's always nice to start with the pleasantries. I don't need conversation. I need to project. You don't want me infecting your behavior like baseline states that pass the time. Pleasantries. I've tried pleasantries. But I'd rather look at the pleasant trees without a word between this teeth, you see. I'm not seen nor heard because I want this disease. Silence. A glance, maybe that's all I need. Standing in a pub like a stranger amongst pals. It sounds silly, but maybe don't talk to me for now. I want substance in this stance. You substitute thoughts for a glance. Well, then maybe there's a chance we can make this work. Because work feels easier than talk. Let's go for a walk and write songs of better times and tell stories about how we lost our minds. Because I want to explore. I implore you to see that there's more to me than when you see the pleasant trees in my eyes. I don't tell lies. I'm an emotional guy. Probably why I seem angry all the time. But not at you, at the world I've seen. There's been so many people and so many things that have tried and hurt me. Maybe that's why I have a story to tell, and maybe that's why I project so well, because if you could be in heaven for 1 second, then I'd be the one to tell you about hell. But to save face, I'm not a sympathy case. Just experienced at falling with grace. I want the same things as everyone else. To be free from deceit, a comfy place to sleep, a collection of achievements that I can see in me. I want the chance to have whatever I want to eat. But I'm starved for inspiration. And when I'm in a rut, I'm complacent. You can call me time wasting, but I don't want the accusation. Just a safe haven. No place or state. Just one real conversation. Thank you. Okay, so this poem is called Tracing. Lines can be drawn in the sand, like contours or expression, like a simile or something hopeful and familiar, catching up whilst your old self dissipates. Your old friends seeking refuge in the fact that you haven't changed a bit. Like an ocean tide taking sand from the shores and carrying all the waste from all those drunken slumbers that are experienced in our sagging eyes and those drooling sleeps. I am everything you see, and I'm everything you saw. I'm every promise wished by the lake, still hoping that life could stay like this forever, for the sake of familiarity. I'm every message in a bottle for strangers to plunder and ponder my past, knowing only from interpretation. The earth holds its expression, and the seas roar, only to remain complacent in their space. So let the bottles bob along the ocean and be carried along to stranger tides, and let the lines in the sand be traced forevermore. Thanks. So, this poem is the third of many. It's called The Penny. It's quite a long one. It's a story-based one, and I wrote it a few years ago. Death is like throwing a rock in a lake. The wave of depression spreads evenly, but still the water breaks. Death by shock, or gunstock, or what started off as a headlock, is now drowning very silently at the bottom of the coffin at his wake. Cancer's the answer it usually is, the one you have to ask before you sink as well. From what I can tell, those who answered the question are going to fall or fell. And you look up at the sky to find your auntie, your uncle, your brother, your sister, whatever you can find, and you see the brightest star and you say, that's mine. But you're wrong, they've just gone. Sounding out, my heart is pounding. Another rock drops, rocks another pool drowning. Oh, look at him, trying to sound deep and profound. You speak for the living and the dead now? Scalp him. But to the other side of the penny. Life is when the lady breaks the bed he cleaned just yesterday. But 14 months later, he's there with babies playing with baby toys, some for girls and a lot for boys. He takes his son to school every Tuesday, but he works the rest, so he doesn't get to choose which way he walks every day. At age 13, the kid gets mean, and the father tries, oh so desperately, to keep him from hiding the immaculate space he leaves. Pushing away, pushing back. The age 16 and the kid just cracks. He smacks the walls that he's tried to build so tall, all for the fact that he feels minuscule. And the benevolent father pleads as he needs to keep his heart steady. And no one was ready for the other side of the penny. Heal him, Father, please, cries the mother with the shaken knees. Mr. Tuesday, who's worked every day, has seemed to find himself in a bad way. Doctors say he has till the end of May. Break to broken. And his son is left sulking. Death is like throwing a rock in a lake. The wave of depression spreads evenly of the layer cake at his wake. He answered his question May 29th, the end of his life. The doctors were right. But the sun still looks up in the sky and sees the brightest star and says, that's mine. Thank you. Okie doke. Oh, hopefully I should remember this one off by heart, because this was one of the ones I practiced when I first was doing these videos. Alright, so this is the first one I uploaded to my Hermes Polinski account. We just started recording now. It's okay. So, yeah, this is the fourth one. Called Homeward Bound. And it's the first one that I uploaded to the Hermes Polinski account. It was actually really one of the points where I decided that I was even going to use it for poems and stuff like that. In the summer of that year, I was staying in this really weird room where I had loads and loads of like woodlouse and all these weird creepy bugs and stuff in there. And it had no windows, so those are the first 2 lines of the poem. And it goes like this. My room has no windows, and my bed has bugs. And I want to exchange this anger for hugs. These words have no meaning, and I have no companion. I just extend myself, only to be excluded in the long run. This pen lies to me, and so does my brain, so I guess they're one and the same. But still, I sit siphoning my own dignity, and have only my possessions beside me. So, bury me with my things. My fortune does not favour me. I'll strike out, abolish myself, and wonder if I ever needed the help. The world is on fire, and I sit in silence, hoping using this paper as an act of defiance. Maybe I'm meant to be alone, a cocoon to grow a home, and then maybe I'll find worlds and peace, all made of stone. Homeward bound, I'll chant, homeward bound, bound to be a state, a hammer to the stake. And I'll take this away from myself, because for once I did something with no help. Thank you. This one's called Reasons I Don't Take My Phone to Bed Anymore. Someone is watching me when I take my phone to bed. Everyone has their walls held by glass. The pieces spout afterthoughts that simmer and spit, like salted pots filled with boiling water. My foot bleeds as I accidentally step on the broken glass surrounding me, and I just throw it away, dispose of it, just for tonight, as I see clearer during the day, and so I could catch the shard before I prick myself with curiosity. My words wobble like drunks falling out of a shop window, and splatter like pasta left for too long. And the mind wanders. I leave shards left in the peripherals, and they beckon you. I need to. You don't. You shouldn't. You can look through your window in the morning, when it's much brighter and you don't coax so easily, as it fabulizes expectation. I can see right through it without a chance to heal from the cuts on my feet. I don't like taking phones with me to bed because of the glint in your eyes. Its brightness hasn't a breath or a smile. It has a voiceover. It's a forced relationship built on supply and demand, and it purposes my eyes and attention into being cut for purposelessness. I'll let it call me from downstairs. I won't coddle it. I'll sweep up the shattered pieces tomorrow and then rebuild them in my bed and sleep easy for once in a while. Thank you. Okay. So this is the first one I wrote when I came to uni, which is like years ago now. But I'm still living in the same place for a little bit. So this one it's called Isolate. Isolate. Let's think about that word. Doesn't start with an I'm or me. Just I. I curated this world in which I live in. I and I alone. Alone. But you still keep your phone switched on in case you hear that familiar tone. You've got no friends in your head, so you sit beside yourself instead. You've been living so long on your own that you see no reason to call home, or go outside to find out what others you know have done. But when you isolate, you start to mediate to yourself as to why you can't ask for help, or why someone can't help you. But with someone beside you, you could decide on who you are next, or then, or now, or after. You remember laughter. It doesn't happen when you're alone. Not until another voice sits in your mind. So just try and find the time to stay confined. Some time for yourself in this world of someone else's. Someone will put in the time for you if you haven't built up your walls like angry fences from an angrier neighbour. If the Saviour came, it's because they went. Loneliness isn't built on intent. I present myself as someone that lives through punishment because I portray a poem as a reflection. Reject my surroundings. I should present the profound, and please stop sounding out, as I know it's not my style. Maybe it's time to sit alone for a while. Thanks. Alright, so now we're on to the much more red part of the live stream, because these ones are not in any of the they're not in any of the Instagram, but got two more. So there's this one, and then there's the last one. This one I wrote recently, and it's called Falling Feeling. She kissed him on the cheek, and the folds in the bed left little maps in his mind of where they slept. Every moment etched onto a canvas. They would whisper sweetness to each other, and he would see her with 2 cups. They'd sit in silence, and the world spun around them without notice. The world didn't matter. Just hold me, she'd say. And he wouldn't let go. And they fell. We used to live in our basements because we were so afraid of falling. And we fell. We would clutch each other's hands as the wind passed through us, hoping to never land where we started. We'd smile at each other, knowing that the ground could come and tear us away from the ecstasy we created. And in each other, you'd say, it's okay. And it was. Still is. But we are mad in our hopes, and we care. And we'll always love that falling feeling. The ground comes, and we feel our cartilage crunch and clatter, and those heartbreaks and those moans, they matter. But we heal from our bones, and our eyes begin to widen, and the brain trains to maintain all that is left, and we grow. And every so often you'll feel like falling again, testing the ground that admires a descent, and you'll smile, as you'll have to fall for it sometime. Thanks. Yeah. So this one's called Freedom. Freedom is taking a long shit in the middle of working a busy shift. It's when you throw eggs at a car window and get away with it. It's when you steal someone's hairbands from Claire's and stick them on your pets so they have some style. It's when you hang a traitor. It's when the pitchforks actually work and you hang Mussolini's body from the streets. It's when Che Guevara spares your life and you're marked as a terrorist adventurer. It's when you can transfer £60 to your mate for a bag and still make it to work in the afternoon. It's when you take a day off nursery. We work to eat. We chew our breaths, scrimp and save our way, and save our cash for rainy days daily. But what do we make in return? Time? Time for what? What time is left between the hours of bathroom breaks? There's no stories left to be told. Not when we're old. We sold our lives to work for the next one. We should learn to breathe once in a while, because freedom hides in moments of clarity and in the back pockets of entrepreneurs and in the minds of the poorest folk. It sits in the heads of the drug-addled maniacs that somehow still have your phone number. It speaks in the conversations that go on for more than 3 hours, and it sleeps on your first love's pillow. And now you can pay £140 an hour and she'll do anything for that price. And you're free to choose. Choose again. And choose to choose again. Thank you.